Nah, I walked in and Big was snapping on Puff first, and I'm just laughing. Shit was hilarious because Puff was like, "You gotta say my name." He's like, "Said your name like 15 times on this album." Puff know I'm telling the truth too. You know I'm telling the truth, Puff. But then we sat there and wrote our verses. We both sat there and wrote.
Biggie, never one bit. See, one thing you gotta realize me, follow my pattern. I'm a businessman. I figure if in a year or two, Biggie would have been a death row artist because that's how talented he was. And I would have pursued him as an artist because I felt I could have gave him a bigger deal. And I wouldn't have been in his videos. So I think he was an incredible artist. Just think, Tupac and Biggie, it never was no real feud. They might have had words before, but I know I could have molded them back.
Right from the start, you can feel the tension. Method Man walking into a studio, and Biggie already on the attack, snapping on Puff. But Meth, he's calm, laughing, observing. It's a moment of levity, but also a rare peek into the unfiltered dynamics between legends in the making. He's witnessing personalities collide, seeing how Biggie handles conflict, and noticing the small details most fans never get to see. Even in that moment, there's strategy. Every nod, every laugh, every line of verse isn't just about music, it's about understanding the game. Meth notes how Biggie's lyrical genius stands out immediately, and as they sit down to write, we're reminded that behind the chaos, collaboration is still happening. The groundwork for historic tracks is being laid quietly, away from public eyes.
So now it's like, oh, I slide my. Now I'm looking around to see if anybody saw me speak.
This moment sheds light on Meth's mindset, not just as an artist, but as a strategist. He isn't merely observing talent, he's calculating potential. In his eyes, Biggie wasn't just a peer, he was a future powerhouse, someone whose trajectory could have reshaped the industry. Method Man's words reveal a dual perspective: admiration for Biggie's artistry, and a clear vision for how the business of hip-hop might have evolved if he had pursued Biggie differently. It's fascinating because this isn't just studio talk, it's insight into the music ecosystem of the 90s, where every connection, every verse, could pivot careers. Meth recognized Biggie's rare gift, the charisma, the storytelling, the precision, and knew it could have taken him far beyond the streets, even toward a major label like Death Row. And in that awareness, there's a subtle tension, a what-if floating quietly behind every word.
Now I'm on mushrooms like a month. Yeah. That's what they was doing out there. So soon as I got the play, hit me with the shroom. Blah, 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 blah. I'm in here like this. And I mean, it didn't hit me, like, cause we got a force field. This Wu-Tang, we got a force field around us, but I'm by myself. It didn't hit me while I'm in the club, in the House of Blues, till I saw Puff.
Here, Meth's perspective challenges the common narrative. He emphasizes Biggie's artistry above all else, reminding us that at the core, these were musicians first, navigating a dangerous, attention-grabbing environment. The clip going viral online reignites debates about Method Man's role during the East Coast versus West Coast tension. Fans are now speculating, was he just neutral, or was there more going on behind the scenes? What's compelling is Meth's ability to contextualize the era without assigning blame. He points out that words might have happened, but he frames it as manageable conflict between artists, not a full-blown feud. And that perspective alone is rare, because history has often been rewritten through the lens of rivalry, hype, and media exaggeration. His calm recollection suggests someone who understood both sides intimately, moving carefully, observing, and surviving the storm that many could not.
I fly out to Cali that day for Soul Train, like everybody did.
Okay. Oh, man.
Soul Train Awards happening. I get on the plane. I'm in first class. Shook gets on. He leaving from New York.
That's wild.
And I'm like, well, wow, that's interesting.
The 90s weren't just an era of music. They were a war zone for hip-hop culture. Every conversation, every studio session, and every handshake could carry weight far beyond the beats. Method Man's recollection hints at the tightrope he walked between loyalty, survival, and artistic integrity. Fans online are asking the same question. Was he quietly navigating the tensions, or could he have been more involved than anyone realized? The key is his awareness of surroundings, sliding in, making eye contact, checking if anyone is watching. It's a subtle detail, but it reveals a mindset forged in a dangerous environment. The East Coast versus West Coast conflicts weren't just media stories. They were real-life pressures, where missteps could have life-altering consequences. Meth's calm, measured approach shows a rare combination of street smarts and instinct. He wasn't reckless, he wasn't careless, and that ability to observe while remaining untouchable is what set him apart.
He was saying, if there's anybody we were on the East Coast,
Right.
it'd be Wu-Tang.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
This is letting us know, and anybody that was in the know that it wasn't an East Coast, West Coast thing. It was bad.
Method Man's position was almost mythical. In a world where alliances could shift overnight and a single misstep might cost you your career, or worse, he maintained respect on both coasts. That's not luck, it's strategy. Every handshake, every collab, every careful word was a chess move in a dangerous game. He wasn't just observing the chaos, he was surviving it. While others chose sides, often with fatal consequences, Meth understood that neutrality carried its own power. Being trusted by everyone required more than talent. It demanded wisdom, foresight, and an acute sense of people's intentions. That ability to stay above the fray allowed him to navigate situations most artists wouldn't dare touch. Fans online have often speculated that this rare balance is what protected him when the storm claimed so many around him.
He didn't say to me either. He said to me anyway. No, he did when he got off the plane, though. He did the head nod, that shug shit, like, and walked off the plane. You know what I mean? I ain't even say shit back.
Think about it. Collaborating with Tupac at the height of East Coast-West Coast tension was more than a musical choice. It was a calculated risk. Method Man's friendships weren't just networking, they were lifelines. The fact that he could maintain real connections with both Biggie and Tupac speaks volumes about his instincts, his respect, and his ability to read people. Working on tracks like Got My Mind Made Up placed him in scenarios that most artists would have avoided entirely. One wrong move could have spelled disaster, yet Meth navigated it with a rare combination of cool confidence and street savvy. The audacity to cross these invisible lines during a time when every gesture was scrutinized shows not just courage, but a deep understanding of the rules of survival in hip-hop's most dangerous era.
I never got any flack. Nobody said shit to me about nothing. Let me tell you something about Wu-Tang. For one, all right, you know it's 10 members. 10 members, okay.
All of y'all.
But they don't know that 10 members got family.
Staying alive and respected in that era wasn't just about talent. It was about reading the room, knowing the players, and anticipating danger before it arrived. Method Man's ability to walk through a volatile landscape untouched suggests a combination of skill, foresight, and perhaps connections that kept him out of harm's way. Fans online often speculate whether it was pure street intelligence or something more mysterious that allowed him to remain untouchable. This wasn't casual networking. This was survival at the highest stakes. Every handshake, every nod, every decision could carry consequences that extended beyond music. Meth's calm, measured approach allowed him to maintain credibility while witnessing moments that could have easily gone sideways for someone less savvy. That rare balance between loyalty, neutrality, and influence made him a unique figure, a bridge between worlds many assumed could never coexist peacefully. This is where Meth's wisdom becomes strikingly clear. He recognized early on that the game was filled with pretenders, people who played roles without fully understanding the risks. But the real ones, the true players, were navigating life and death stakes every day. His comment resonates because it shows awareness beyond music. He understood the streets, the politics, and the forces that dictated survival. Fans online have speculated endlessly about his insight. Was it intuition, deep street knowledge, or just the kind of experience that comes from being at the center of power in hip-hop's most turbulent years? Meth's ability to remain calm, even in situations that could have escalated quickly, highlights a rare combination of intelligence, foresight, and restraint. It's a moment that forces us to reconsider the quiet figures who observed, calculated, and survived while chaos unfolded around them. Even beyond the studio, beyond the performances and the public appearances, Method Man's awareness of the stakes was constant. Every interaction carried a subtle weight. A nod, a glance, a casual conversation could carry meaning far beyond what outsiders could perceive. He understood the art of moving quietly but purposefully, the delicate balance of influence and discretion. In an era where loyalty was currency, he was holding a full portfolio, managing relationships that could explode at any moment. It wasn't about ego. It wasn't about being a headline. It was about surviving while staying connected to the culture he helped define. Walking into a room, Meth was never just a rapper. He was a strategic observer, assessing dynamics, reading energy, and anticipating the moves of those around him. Fans and historians alike have speculated for years that this kind of insight was why he never got caught in the chaos that claimed so many others. He was everywhere and nowhere at once, a shadow in plain sight, calm while the world around him teetered. There's a deeper layer in his story that often gets overlooked. Method Man wasn't just avoiding danger, he was mediating it. He had an unspoken role as a connector, someone both sides acknowledged as credible. Biggie's camp trusted him, Tupac's circle respected him, and even figures behind the scenes, executives, managers, and street contacts, knew Meth's word carried weight. That kind of position is rare. It requires more than charisma. It requires intelligence, foresight, and an almost instinctual understanding of human behavior. The subtlety of his navigation becomes even more striking when you consider the high-profile moments he survived without fanfare. He moved through airports, studios, award shows, and private meetings with an unassuming ease, yet every step was calculated. Observers might have assumed it was luck, but those who knew better recognized the strategy. Meth's movements weren't just tactical, they were survival art. By the time March 1997 rolled around, the tension in Los Angeles had reached a critical point. Rumors, threats, and paranoia were everywhere, and yet Method Man arrived on the scene with the same calculated calm he'd maintained for years. Fans watching online have pointed out the precision of his recollections, the timing, the locations, the people present. It's not random memory, it's methodical awareness. Every handshake, every nod, every conversation was an opportunity to protect himself while maintaining neutrality. What stands out in this narrative isn't just his safety, it's the respect he commanded. Being neutral wasn't passive, it was active. It required presence, authority, and credibility. Meth didn't just avoid conflict, he was valued precisely because he could navigate it. That level of respect gave him access others could never dream of: conversations, collaborations, even insight into events that would later become historic. And through it all, he kept his perspective intact, untouched by the chaos that engulfed the culture around him. Even small interactions like shared flights or passing moments with key figures carried significance. Every encounter had stakes. Every subtle gesture meant something. Meth's recollections of the Soul Train Awards weekend illustrate this perfectly. Sitting on a plane, seeing familiar faces, sensing underlying tension, all while maintaining composure, is a testament to his discipline and awareness. He could have reacted any number of ways, but instead, he chose observation and patience. That patience paid off. Because in that era, those who acted impulsively often paid with their careers, or worse. Meth's ability to process, anticipate, and navigate kept him alive, respected, and unscathed, while others were swept into the chaos. His survival wasn't just about avoiding bullets, it was about understanding the social architecture of hip-hop at its most dangerous. At its core, Method Man's story from this period is about discretion, about knowing what to say, when to act, and when to remain silent. Every choice had layers of consequence, yet he managed to thrive artistically and personally. Collaborations, friendships, and studio sessions all happened against a backdrop of extreme volatility. While others were forced to pick sides, Meth operated on his own terms, bridging worlds without compromising his safety or integrity. And it's that integrity, paired with insight, that continues to fascinate fans and historians. The fact that he witnessed so much, moved freely between camps, and survived untouched makes his perspective invaluable. Even decades later, observers wonder, what does he know that hasn't been shared? How much of the untold story of hip-hop's deadliest years passed through his eyes before disappearing into silence? Every interaction, every collaboration, and every public appearance is now viewed through a lens of curiosity and speculation. Fans question what insights Meth might hold about moments that shape the culture forever. From late-night studio sessions to award shows, every scene carries significance. The careful observation, the strategic relationships, the measured neutrality, all of it paints a portrait of someone who not only survived, but also held a subtle influence over the unfolding narrative. And while the culture mourned its losses, Method Man's perspective remained largely unspoken, quiet, but potent. That silence isn't emptiness, it's a deliberate choice, a choice that reflects intelligence, respect, and a profound understanding of the stakes. In a world where talking could make you a target, staying quiet was a form of power. And as the years passed, Method Man continued to thrive, both creatively and culturally. He remained a central figure in Wu-Tang Clan, released music that resonated with millions, and maintained friendships across a fractured landscape. That ability to move freely, to witness history, and to emerge unscathed adds layers to his legacy. It's more than survival, it's strategic mastery, wrapped in artistry and street wisdom. Fans often ask, what would the culture look like if everyone navigated with Meth's awareness? Could more lives have been preserved? Could more collaborations have been realized? That question lingers, echoing through comment sections, forums, and social media debates even decades later. At the heart of it all, Method Man's story isn't just about surviving chaos, it's about understanding it. It's about navigating a world where music, loyalty, and life were intertwined in ways most could never comprehend. And it's this perspective, this quiet observation, that makes him a living witness to one of hip-hop's most dangerous and transformative eras. His silence, in many ways, is the loudest statement. It reminds us that power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it moves quietly, observes, calculates, and waits. And for decades, that silence has kept fans, historians, and culture watchers intrigued, wondering what really happened behind the scenes. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video you see on your screen for even more juicy celebrity chaos, betrayals, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know. See you in the next one.